So, Chris, if you're making the lineup, what's your batting order look like for the wild card series game one? And in this scenario, we'll say Lourdes is back and available.
Um, if Lourdes is back, I mean, the top 4 or 5 or 6 is pretty obvious to me. I
Mm-hmm.
think, I think it's Springer, Bo, Vlad, Kirk. I think that four is kind of set now. Teoscar and Chapman, whatever order you want to put them, probably
Mm-hmm.
that order. Um, it depends who's. In this scenario, it's Manoa would be pitching game one. I think we're presuming. So that would mean Kirk catching. Um, so then you get into interesting discussions of is Springer your center fielder? Is he your DH?
Mm-hmm.
Gurriel's going to be in left field in that scenario. Um, is it Merrifield over Espinal? I don't. I think that's an interesting discussion. But
Does Biggio get playing time, or does it
he
only
hasn't.
against?
It's interesting with him. They haven't really been turning to him much. I mean, Merrifield swinging a hot bat certainly has something to do with it. Um, I would something is leaning. I'd be leaning on Merrifield. It's just I've liked the at bats. Um, I like what he's been doing. I think he's going to be really whatever you want to call it, pumped, excited, jacked up for come postseason. I'd be leaning him in one of those spots at the bottom of the order. And then I do think it's an interesting discussion of does Jansen, do you find a way to get him in there or is somebody else who DH? But these all bring up kind of what I was alluding to earlier is I love their lineup. Like they've been getting production. It's something that, is it Minor Leaguer on Twitter or it might be James G. It's something I've shown in our broadcasts kind of throughout the year as well. Just production from like 7 through 9 in the order, or production like 5 and down through the order. Like they're the best in baseball. They're such a deep lineup, and I love that we've got options for this stuff. I love that they can go to 2 or 3 different pieces at the bottom of the order, and you're not gonna like the answer. Yes, I've got preferences, but also like I don't think it's really going to matter all that much. I think they've got major leaguers and kind of professional hitters kind of to fill out the bottom of the order, and you'll have them on the bench.
Alejandro
Are you
Kirk's at DH every other game other than when he's catching for Manoa,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
Um, yeah. Is there anybody else that has the other? It'll be interesting for Gossman. I think Kirk has better. I think Gossman has better numbers with Kirk
Kirk.
catching. Whether or not, I mean, a lot of that's random. I don't know whether it matters. I think the only personal catching situation is Manoa and Kirk. It seems like, but I'd probably lean that way unless you get somebody that's really hot. Um, I don't think I don't think there's a big difference between the two of those guys behind the plate anymore. Like I do like the way Jansen calls the game, and the pitchers definitely seem to respond to him. But then you get into a lot of that qualitative stuff. That
Mm-hmm.
like, are we just kind of pinning some stuff on him that he doesn't necessarily deserve? I don't know. I do think with Manoa, you can see like Kirky does steal strikes for him at the bottom of the strike zone. And it's just something where both the eye test and the numbers seem to support the idea that Jansen doesn't can't steal you as many strikes at the bottom of the strike zone. So I think that might have something to do with the Gossman numbers as well. Can he steal? Can he take a low splitter and turn it into a strike a time or two? And really, it only takes stealing 2 or 3 to
Yeah.
potentially change a
Turn a
start.
game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm curious.
So
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, no, no. You go ahead.
I'm just curious on your thought on. So the Jays are entering their final 3 series of the year, final 9 games, magic numbers at 4. They have a 2-game lead on the Rays, 2.5 on the slumping Mariners. They have no tiebreakers, so they need to finish ahead of these two other teams vying for the wild card to get home field advantage. In your opinion, is home field advantage that big of a deal? Like, John Schneider came out the other day and said that he feels it's such a big deal. He's prepared to pitch Manoah in game 162 if that's a deal breaker. So my question for you is, if you, Chris Black, are making these decisions, do you feel strong enough about home field advantage that you would actually pitch Alek Manoah in game 162?
I think this is me reaching. I think that was like partly put out into the world to kind of like push everyone to be, hey, let's not make that a thing. Let's not put ourselves in a situation, guys, where we need to use Alek Manoah because it's something that Joe alluded to on either yesterday's show or the show 2 days ago, but he's become the ace of the staff and a leader on this team in the last month to 5 weeks. Whereas I would have said, and maybe it's been that way for longer, but if you would have asked me in late July, early August, something like that, I would have said, and this is even after he made the All-Star team, I would have said I view him and Gossman as 1A and 1B. But what he's done over the last month of kind of, get on my shoulders, guys, and I'll take you there, and like not being afraid to speak things into the world of, I got this and I'm going to put them to sleep and all those types of things. He's become a leader on this team. I think this is me, total outsider's point of view. I'm not talking to guys on the team. I'm not in the room, but it just seems like it. So I don't think it's going to matter. I think they're going to do what needs to be done between now and next, I can't remember, Tuesday or Wednesday, that it's not going to matter. I could be wrong, but I think they're swinging it well. I don't think the Yankees have a ton to play for this week. So I think they're going to get home field. I do think home field is that important to answer one part of that question. Like, not just, I think the crowd is huge. I think the crowd's unbelievable. I think the crowd can impact the umpires, but also just for the pure baseball advantage of last at bat and everything that comes with that, I would do it. So I do think it's that important. I understand what John was saying when he said it's that important. But I think they were almost hoping, let's put ourselves in a position so we don't need to actually be in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.